The House of Reagan was founded by two friends, Curtis Cochran and Ben Stofferon. Curtis and Ben wanted to found a house centered in brotherhood, with the house values of warrior spirit, risk-taking, endurance, and the Joseph principle. They desired to make a house that was more than just a category to be placed in. They desired for the house to be a family, to create a place where bonds were forged between brothers, and to strengthen themselves as well as the people around them in the light of Christ. And those desires live on in the House of Reagan to this day. The house crest of Ronald Reagan is composed of an RR that symbolizes the presidency and leadership of Ronald Reagan, a wolf that signifies perseverance and effort, the lion that stands for dauntless courage, three swords that symbolize power, protection, authority, strength, and courage, and the colors blue and red that stand for loyalty, strength, and warrior spirit.
The House of Ronald Wilson Reagan
is to equip and encourage its members
to be God-fearing
men of integrity
who take calculated risk
while persevering in the pursuit
of a significant life.
At King's, the first question you ask is what house you're in. So she asked me, what house am I in? I said, Reagan. And she said, oh. And I was like, why? Like, why did you react like that? And she said that her dad had already told her that she's not allowed to date anybody in the House of Reagan. I ended up taking that girl to spring formal that year.
Started meeting some upperclassmen and really started to like Churchill because they were just trashing Reagan, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
I only, heard what Bonhoeffer and Churchill had said, and that wasn't very positive things. So when I got an email from David Dantzler saying you're in the House of Reagan, I was a bit nervous, but after being in Reagan for a year and a half now, I would have left if I wasn't in Reagan.
House traditions. Let's see.
Probably the most famous house tradition is up and to the left. It's a tradition that was started based on the original Ronnie cardboard cutout.
For the great race, you had to take a picture of whatever location you're in, and because we brought Ronnie with us and he was kind of looking in this direction, we felt like it's only appropriate to model ourselves after him. And then it just became a tradition of doing that in any picture that we're in, whether or not the cardboard cutout was with us. I think we look good doing it.
What was great about the Blazers is it set us apart as distinct. We were the first house to ever have stuff. We had it before Thatcher had sweaters or anything like that. And it identified us. The Blazer is a merit of staying a full year in the House of Reagan. And it identifies you as part of the house. It shows you as an upperclassman who stuck around, who is heir to the history of it, who knows what's gone on and can represent the house.
The CFO at the time, Gary Latainer, basically made a wager with us. He said, if you guys win the entire house competition, then I'll buy you guys Blazers and I'll take you out for a steak dinner. Yes, the House of Ronald Reagan did win the House Cup. Within a few weeks, we got the patches, we bought the Blazers, we went out to a steak dinner. That's what helped build really the reputation of being a little arrogant at times, but also doing it in good fun and just allowing ourselves to bond and to really try our best.
The house retreat my freshman year is what convinced me that I not only wanted to be at the school, but to stay here no matter what happened after that.
That was really the moment that I felt that I was a part of the house.
Really, it was kind of just setting the stage for the rest of the year, how the rest of the year was supposed to go, setting the bar, what we were supposed to meet.
Usually we wake the freshmen up early in the morning and haul them out to the woods, and usually the director of fraternal affairs selects a tree to push down.
I think the first year that we did do it was my sophomore year, and it was there's a lot of energy. You have 20, 25 dudes who are all obviously jacked, very handsome men, and you need to do something with that energy. And I just felt like it was the suggestion of the president to go ahead and push down the tree. It just sounded like the best idea at the time, and it was, because it was awesome. And I remember we pulled down a number of trees. Sorry, not sorry, Forrest.
It goes back to my freshman year. Within the first week, I remember a few Thatcher girls breaking into Dan Hayes' apartment and completely defacing his apartment. Eventually, that year, those same girls decided to steal the Reagan Blazers, and I don't remember what exactly they did with it, but it was sort of half-heartedly funny. It wasn't very good.
And we felt like it was just payback to take what was precious to them. And so Aaron actually went to go get the sweaters, and then that night we all put on the sweaters and we took very domesticated pictures. And the best one was the picture of John Hummel giving birth to Luke Anderson coming out of his spread wide legs.
After that, Churchill, for some reason, decided that they wanted to steal the Reagan Blazers again and do another character named Ronnie Reagan. And basically, they just stripped down almost naked and did unspeakable things in our Blazers. And it wasn't funny, and the girls were kind of grossed out by it.
It was 2009. I remember it like it was yesterday. We brought it to the basketball competition. I think someone had just left it kind of like in the corner, and magically it just disappeared. Not really sure what happened to it. And eventually we got pictures of the house of Margaret Thatcher abusing poor Reagan.
Now, not only is that a disgrace to America, that is a disgrace to our house.
We spent the entire time talking about our house values and whether we should change them or not, whether they really rung true. And we decided that they didn't really hit home as hard as we wanted them to. And so Lucas told us this story about a headmaster or a dean, I can't remember exactly which, who had an honor code at his school. And the fraternities had been handing down exams or essays and cheating to help their younger new guys. He walks in front of the entire student body with the honor code, just throws it down, and he says, yes, loyalty and fraternity, but above all, honor. And we knew, okay, loyalty, fraternity, and honor.
Loyalty was a big deal because it was kind of like the end of Hell Week, sort of. It was, this is us, learning to struggle together, learning to go through punishment together. And at the end of the day, you can name about 5 or 6 guys who would, take a bullet for you.
No matter how different they are, no matter how much you conflict with them, you're always there for each other.
We're a community that values honor, that while we may come off as arrogant or kind of cocky, we really do strive to pursue honor.
The house history competition was during a year for us that was really, really difficult.
I was the Chamberlain, so I hadn't really thought about it that much, and no one had done anything about it. And in the first house history competition, you're supposed to have an alumni present.
And the night before, our one alumnus who was available had to cancel on us. Something came up, and we were left without being able to have an alum in our actual production.
So we ended up having a meeting with most of the house. None of us cared about it. And in walks former president James Nordby, and he just said, well, why don't we just not go? Just boom, why don't we just not go? And it kind of just swept through the room, and we were all just like, and that's a good point. Let's go smoke cigars.
We realized that, all right, what are the real reasons we're trying to skip this competition? Not just because we're better than student development, but simply we didn't have much of a house that year.
We ended up actually getting to know guys in the house that we hadn't really seen that much. Refocused us on being Reaganites and hanging out with each other and really getting to know each other and digging into each other's lives.
And so that started a turning point for us in the house, where at one point, typical Reagan, we started with pride, and then we had to face our own arrogance, our stupidity, and our lack of organization. But then through that and being honest with what we were going through, we were able to start in one of our strongest years that we've ever had.